Hello everybody, this time I'm back with another video, this time talking about the newly released Combat Arena Lair of the Beast board game, which is a Barnes & Noble exclusive. I ordered this via expedited shipping so I would get it as soon as possible, but it was $34.99 purchased from the Barnes & Noble web store. And so basically this is yet another Games Workshop board game that tries to be like an introductory, an easy way for the company to introduce new people to Warhammer 40K. And one of the cool things about this particular board game is that it includes most of the miniatures from the Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress game. And I believe there's 13 miniatures, lots of other materials in the box. But the great thing about this is when you look at the fact that you're getting 13 miniatures, and you can see just a few examples of what's included here. When you consider that an average Games Workshop 40K miniature goes for about $30 to $35 US, getting 13 of these in one box is a pretty good deal. So that's probably the main reason that I picked it up. But there's definitely also the angle of getting people not familiar with 40K introduced in the game. So with that said, why don't we go ahead and open this up. Cut off a finger here. All right. There we go. Let's flip this over. Open this beast up. A quick edit because it took me forever to get the blasted box lid off. But opening up the box here, just like in the case with Space Marine the board game, it's a pretty heavy box. I mean, the perceived value here is pretty good. Here's all the game tokens and the game board that you play on. I can already tell it's not as large as the board used in Space Marine the board game, but it's pretty sturdy cardstock. Feels pretty weighty. Here we have one of the bases. Here's the rule book. It's not quite as impressive as the Space Marine the board game rule book, but in terms of just the perceived value, how heavy it is, that sort of thing. But gorgeous artwork here. Here's the Amble, which is one of the key miniatures in the game. The basic premise here is that 2 to 4 players have to fight against the Amble, and the game is kind of designed around that. Here you can see all the box contents, all the different reference cards for all the individual characters you can choose. As you can see, and you can see a little bit from behind the manual here, everything is, all the plastic is kind of colored already. So here we have UR025, an Eldar character, the Amble. Let's see. Esperna Lacarna, who's a navigator. Thaddeus the Purifier. James Drake, who I believe is or Janice Drake, I'm sorry, who is a rogue trader. Sergeant Venaro the Space Marine. Pius Vorn, who is an Adeptus Sororitas character, I believe. Dahak Grek, he's a Kroot. And then we've got the 2 Rattling twins and some other great artwork. The manual, it's nice to have it full color. You know, again, not quite as impressive as Space Marine the board game, but still, you know, full color, nice visuals. And this game seems a little bit more involved than Space Marine the board game. And I'll follow up this video with a review and maybe how to play like I did with Space Marine the board game. Here's a nice shot of UR205. For those of you who don't know, Games Workshop kind of heavily hinted that he was Man of Iron, one of these sentient robots that supposedly were outlawed millennia ago, but cool backstory for that character. Looks like they've got different game variants here. And then here are details on all of the individual characters. Again, we've got the Amble, Sergeant Venardo, Amelin Shadow Guide, UR205, Rattlings. Yeah, some great artwork here. The book's a little smaller than the Space Marine the board game. You know, folks who, you might need glasses, reading glasses if you're a bit older like me to try to read this fine print, but otherwise, looks good. Some more backstory here. In an assembly guide, it looks like all of these are push fit. Don't necessarily need a glue for these, but for 40K players who are buying these for the miniatures, you know, obviously you can do it yourself. Pretty straightforward assembly process for these. Looks like. Good for new players just getting in the game. And here's a nice visual. This is actually from the Warhammer Quest, Blackstone Fortress. Okay. That's the manual. So let's get into all the other stuff. Here is, looks like the Kroot and UR205's a Sprues. And then we have another one. And this one here is, looks to be the Amble. And last but not least, it looks like we have a Space Marine here, Sergeant Venardo. Some nice character and unit cards. Playing guards, you know, like I said, I'll get a game together and do a more formal how to play game review, you know, in a couple days after I've had some time to real play it. More game cards. Comes with 6 dice. You kind of throughout the box here, you can see it looks like the bag was maybe damaged during shipment, but looks like everything's here. Here's a power pack from the Space Marine. But looks like we've got all the bases and everything else, so looks like it's all here. So I guess, you know, pretty impressive first impression. Not quite as impressive as Space Marine the board game, both you know, the weight of the box and kind of perceived quality, but overall, looks to be a more involved game than Space Marine. You know, great manual. Really pleased to see GW do that. And you know, great self-contained box, and also I'm seeing self-contained to keep everything together. This also would make for a great dice rolling box, so good for that. And with that, that is a wrap. So that is Combat Arena Lair of the Beast, and look for how to play video and a review video probably in the next few days, maybe later next week. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.